I have this coffee delivery to my door from my partner because I'm stuck in the room for all day. So I get a ping saying your coffee is ready.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Let's kick this off then. That's all good with you.
Yeah.
So, hi, I'm Dan. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Stake, and I'm doing Stocks and Stocks today. Matt's taking a little bit of a break, so I'm picking up the mantle there. And I'm really honoured to have a friend, Jack Zhang, who's joining us today from Airwallex. It's a great story. We've come through fintech circles together over the last few years, and I'm really excited to have him on board to go and tell his story. So just before we get started, Jack, I know Stocks and Socks, we always like to have a bit of an icebreaker to go and show off what footwear or what socks we're wearing. I wanted to see if you got anything to share with us.
Yeah, of course. It's a little bit challenging. So got this little mustache socks, if you can say it.
Nice. Is there a story?
Not really. I just like interesting socks. That I think I get these from Hong Kong or Denmark. I can't remember, but really pay too much of attention on the story behind it.
Okay, nice. Well, I'll just share mine quickly. So I'm just like harboring my British heritage here. So I've got my British soldiers here. So standing to attention. So that's good. Nice one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
No, all good. So as I mentioned at the start, I feel like we've got a bit of a kindred spirit on this chat. Building out fintechs in Australia is tough business, but very rewarding. And so I just wanted to get a bit of background from you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into it? And a bit about Airwallex.
Yeah, so I came to Australia when I was 15 and a half, close to 16, from China, where I was born. Did my high school, the last year of high school, and went to Melbourne Uni, did the computer science. Then went straight to the financial industry. Worked at a number of hedge fund and investment banks as a financial engineer / sort of software architect, building high frequency, low latency trading systems, and building and in the designing and architecting technical solutions in the trading world. So that's kind of my background. Started Airwallex about 5 years ago with a vision to build a technology company that revolutionized the way business is operating globally. That our financial infrastructure provides a modern tech stack, for businesses of all sizes operating internationally without the challenges of the current global financial system. Businesses use Airwallex to do the end-to-end as the sort of end-to-end global financial service platform, whether you're making or receiving payments from customers domestically or internationally. Airwallex saves businesses time and money by offering real-time, reliable, and cost-effective financial product. Our web app and API solutions support businesses all sizes, from small company to large enterprises. Depends how you want to use the product. A bit of a sort of history about Airwallex. We have now growing from 5 people, 5 co-founders, to over 430 people globally, with 12 offices. We have raised over $360 million in the last 5 years from the like of Sequoia, DST, Salesforce, and MasterCard, etc. And the company is growing. From a monthly revenue perspective, we have grown over 100x in the last 24 months.
It's amazing story, amazing numbers, and I think I can relate firsthand to the difficulties of building that technology from the ground up, and how antiquated a lot of the current systems are. So the experience that customers feel on the product, it's because of all of the hard work and innovation and that you and have actually been able to develop over the last few years. So I really see that there's a great use case to be able to be that infrastructure that can power the new age of technology. And I think the numbers that you just mentioned are amazing in terms of the 100x increase in revenues, the amount of the incredible money that you've raised. How do you actually go from having an idea 5 years ago, setting up a company with 4 co-founders, to actually creating something with 400 plus staff with, those types of revenues? Like how do you actually go and build the business and deliver it and build that scale in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, I'll definitely have write it down before I all started all this. I was just joking. No, nothing is predicted 5 years ago, to be honest. I remember that when we started the company, my dream was to having $1 million transaction volume a day. So we thought it'd be amazing if we could have $1 million transaction. Now we probably have 1 million transaction just under a couple of minutes. Yeah. So it's a very different scale now. But I guess we really started by solving a single problem at the beginning, which is helping businesses making payout to the recipient, whether the supplier or the employees or some merchants selling on the marketplace, making that payout process as more cost efficient and as fast as possible. I guess in your use case will be if someone want to buy a US share, we want to basically have the money receive immediately and hit the bank account in the US immediately, then you can buy the shares straight away. That's the ultimate experience we try to create for our customers. And as we kind of continue to solving that problem, we build a global payment network ourselves by partnering through each of the domestic bank in every single markets. And by building this connectivity and API layer sitting on top of those banking partners in each of the country, we realized that there's a lot more we can do, not only just doing disbursement or payout. We can do a lot more. So we started basically migrating all the sort of traditional offline banking or payment capability to online each of the markets by working with our banking partners, building an API layer sitting on top of that traditional infrastructure, then interconnecting into a global financial service cloud. Ultimately, the company evolved to from a cross-border payout platform to be now a global financial service cloud that really empower businesses of all sides to grow that business globally. Not only servicing customer directly, but also empower, using our infrastructure to empower our customers to offering this capability to their customers, that to potentially grow in their services, growing that geographically, and ultimately providing a better customer experience to that customer. And then once the vision of the company evolved, that we found there's a lot larger market to address. There's a lot a lot bigger revenue pool out there for us to go after. Then obviously just uplift the entire company, getting enough capital to go after that vision, continue to grow in different segments, but also geographically as well. We launched in UK, Europe, US, as on top of the Asia Pacific, which is our core markets, which ultimately kind of driving horizontally and vertically about the revenue growth, which achieving where we are today.
Okay, amazing. And so you mentioned around the UK and Europe, and you also got exposure into offices in Asia as well, right?
Yeah, so our core business is in Asia, Greater China, which is Hong Kong, then Singapore, Australia. That we are getting licenses in the like of Japan and Malaysia, Indonesia, and Australia, obviously, which is our core markets. And we launched in UK and Europe late last year. still in beta version, but I think we do a sort of full launch in Q3 this year. And we did a soft launch in the US last quarter, looking at to do a sort of full launch in Q4 this year. So we geographically expanding pretty fast.
Yeah, oh, amazing. And you mentioned around how when you first started, you were hoping to do $1 million transaction volume in a day, and now it's in a few minutes. But just around when you started out, was that really with the idea to revolutionize the whole infrastructure payments on a global set, or was that ambition set from the start, or did that evolve as you built out?
Yeah, not. Yeah, I think it's definitely evolved as we build out. Initially we were pretty simple. My business partner who had a retail business, and he's using Western Union to making payment to buying supplies from China and Southeast Asia, where making exotic currency payment is extremely difficult. Take weeks, and it's like 4 or 5% at least. From a cost perspective, and there's no transparency, and you have to providing a bunch of documentation offline using emails and all that sort of stuff, and then it's just really, really not transparent and not customer friendly, and we just wanted to solve that simple issue. But obviously, as we build a network of ourselves to solve that issue, that we realize there's a lot more opportunity ahead of us. Both from a product horizontal expansion, vertical expansion, as well as geographical offering, that now kind of evolving that vision to a much larger, after a couple of years.
Yeah, no, amazing. And so you've got customers now in multiple jurisdictions, and working with regulators, working with shareholders. Building out the product. I mean, it's like multifaceted to run the business like building out from an Australian operation, but with a global presence, a global reach. How do you manage that on a day-to-day basis? Especially in the current situations where, it's much more difficult to manage. I'm interested, like how's you're managing 400 staff remotely from in a short space of time?
Yeah, obviously that we have pretty strong leaders in each of the market that to able to run this model. What we found in the early days, when we hired the wrong leader in the markets, we end up not being successful. So I think it's super important to have a proper launch team in each of the market. So the model we now are running is basically we have a general manager. Then we have a head of strategy. Then we had a head of, it's more of a sales director. So we have these sort of 3 people as a team together. So a launching team that to properly build out the team in each of the market. And we were all a lot more sort after in terms of geographic expansion. We were taking a lot of assumptions, a lot of guesses without verify those stuff. In the early days, but now when we're launching a market, we actually doing pretty thorough market mapping, product analysis. Especially we go talk to heaps of customers, potential customers in that market, and try to get feedback, try to validating some of the hypotheses, validating our product, validating that pain point, because each of the market is slightly different. Then when we actually going after that new market, from a kind of customer proposition is kind of slightly different as well. For example, a product that's selling really well in Australia might not work in the US that well, because the customer actually need slightly different things. And we just really wanted to crafting our go-to-market message that kind of resonating in that local market. Then we build a launching team that are able to well executing our hypothesis and kind of keep trying error to make sure we stay on track of our goals that we initially predicted and set, right? So that is the model we're running now, and everything happened on Zoom, so which is fine. So we don't really have a real issue working remotely.
Yeah, good. Interested. Just how has the COVID had an impact, or market volatility had an impact on your business?
I guess, previously that we had about 10% of our revenue coming from travel. And we also have about sort of 10 to 15% of our revenue coming from tuition fee payment, so which is about 20 to 25% of revenue. And we see the travel gone from almost to zero now. So our revenue in travel sector is about 3% of pre-COVID. So it's almost nothing. That kind of reflecting the entire international travel industry, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And our customers are devastated, to be honest, because of this event. And there's very little we can help. And in the tuition fee payment sector, obviously we see students are traveling less, and then actually a lot of students took a gap year. So that we see a 50% reduction. So from taking about 15% of revenue to about 5 to 7% of revenue. We see a pretty big impact on our business in that two verticals. But otherwise, that the other business, which is e-commerce, which is 70% of our revenue, and then just continue to outperforming. We have customers in that sector growing in April alone 250%. So this is kind of give you an indication of how fast this e-commerce business is growing. And the other vertical that growing super fast during COVID is technology and digital. Like of online video streaming, online education, online equity trading, like you guys, and then we see actually remote working, SaaS, all actually growing pretty fast. Because as I said before publicly, that I think we're entering into a new world that where digital economy going to be the center of everything. That the acceleration of the growth of digital economy, they used to be taking 5 to 10 years, now it's taking 5 to 10 months. I think, at the same time, a lot of businesses are, the actual economy structure is changing, and there's also creating a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs and for small businesses. While at the same time, a lot of the traditional business model have to adjust to fit into the new structure of the economy.
Yeah, and I suppose you guys are well placed to go and power that as well. That move from offline into online, and the movement of money and the globalization of business models.
Yeah, so our vision is all about building a global financial infrastructure to help businesses to grow, both domestically and globally. That to having the infrastructure to empower businesses to grow online. And the nature of online businesses is a global business. It's a lot easier to scale cross-border to another markets than the traditional offline businesses. So we actually in a pretty good position right now that to empower that. And it's also, we feel a lot more responsibility for us to do a better job to helping the traditional business to changing the way they work, and potentially migrating the business online, optimizing the costs, at the same time empowering new businesses to get online easier, and then expanding globally easier.
Yeah, amazing. And do you just see that just continuing to evolve over the next few years? How do you see that the shift globally from being at the, really at the coalface of the movement of money and infrastructure? How do you see that playing out?
I think the value of infrastructure is going to continue to evolve, and it's going to grow exponentially, because as more and more businesses building that business on top of infrastructure, we can play a much more significant role to empower them. And as our customers grow globally, that we're able to take the upside of these businesses that are growing globally. We see a very strong cohort across the board of the e-commerce and digital sector, that as this sector growing super fast, that we're able to grow in with them. So how to build a model that we can have a win-win sort of scenario with our customers is pretty important as the growth of Airwallex. So we really see ourselves, instead of a vendor, we really see ourselves as a partner of our customers to really truly understand how and why and where our customer want to grow. And we just wanted to be the infrastructure guy to basically empower that growth, to solving the challenging issues on the financial infrastructure side, that they can focus on building a better customer experience for that customer, building a better product to service in more markets without the burden of the regulation and money movement and the traditional infrastructure.
Sure. Look, it's great. And considering you've managed to build a unicorn in this market from Australia on a global basis is amazing. So congratulations to you and your team for getting to this point. And I can't wait to see how the next few years pan out and you can really start to properly deliver on all of that ambition that you've obviously got. It's very emotive, and you're able to go and sort of talk it through very well. So no, I'll be sort of cheering from the sidelines anyway. Cool. And just before we wrap up as well, I know this is Stocks and Socks, so it's only right that I get to go and ask you a little bit about what you're trading or what you're seeing in the market, what you're looking at. Have you got any thoughts on what's in your portfolio at the moment?
Yeah, I do trade a lot of stocks. As you know, I'm a financial engineer before, and I did a lot of hard currency trading. So trading is in my DNA. I right now all my portfolios in e-commerce and technology, especially enterprise SaaS software. So before COVID, I sort of talked to my friends. I said we should buy in a lot of Zoom, because I think that's going to really change the way how people work now, and is definitely
COVID, or when COVID kicked in.
Before COVID. So when that COVID started from China. So when I remember I came back to Australia on the 16th of January, which is my birthday, and on the 20th I realized how bad the situation is in Wuhan.
Yeah.
And with now everyone's now how interconnected the global economy is, and I said this thing gonna go global potentially, because it's very hard to control. And I started buying Zoom at that time, and which went pretty well. I mean, the stock I bought growing close to 300% from that point. It actually went down a bit. Actually went down 20% post I bought it for whatever reason. I actually didn't quite understand. And
you held it?
The market doesn't react. Basically, I react a lot faster than the market. At the same time, I also bought Shopify. I bought Tesla. I bought DocuSign. And I bought another company called Viva.
What was the last one, sorry?
Viva. Viva is basically a pharmaceutical. So if you wanted to invent new drugs or pharmaceutical medicines, that you run a cloud computing on Viva. They run a special sort of medical cloud computing service. Basically it's like an Amazon AWS for pharmaceutical companies. Also bought a company called Escaler, which is kind of an online remote security company. My overall portfolio went up 300% average in the last 4 months. So it's a bit of a luck. I think it's definitely went overvalued during the course of this period. But I think I did make the right prediction, as in how the market gonna evolve.
Well, you saw what was happening. You made a call with conviction, and you've stuck to it, and you've rode that one through. So that's awesome.
But remember that there's a week in April, March or April, that the U.S. stock market went down 10% each week.
Yeah, middle of March.
Each day. Yeah, my stock went down a lot as well during that. But instead of selling off, I actually continued to buy more, because I really believe in the digital economy and how important the internet companies and technology company going to play a role, and how digital economy going to accelerating the growth. So that's a pretty I guess big decision for me. But sitting on the side, I only use less than 20% of my cash to do investment. So I do took a kind of conservative approach.
No, good on you. Well, it may have been conservative, but it seems like you, as you said, you trade with conviction and you got your clear strategy in place. So good on you. Jack, thank you very much. I think that wraps it up for today, but it's been great having you on Stocks and Socks and hearing your story. So really appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, Dan. Really honored to join the session today.
Great.